Hello everyone, my name is TPM Dreams and we're having a video of the latest Overground extension, which is the West London Orbital. Now picture this, you live in Hounslow, you want to get to Brent Cross, two of London's biggest destinations, both sitting in West and Northwest London, and to get between them, you are stuck on a bus crawling along the North Circular or doing 3 changes on the tube, going all the way into the centre of London just to go back again. That is not a transport system. That is a slow drag. That is punishment. Probably a slug can get between those faster than you can. But here's the thing. There's already a railway line that runs almost exactly where you need it. It's been sitting in there since the 1800s, 1868 to be exact. It's just being used for freight, quietly rusting and completely ignored until now. There is a story, this is a story of the West London Orbital, the Overground extension that can be used to reshape how the entire corner of London moves. And where it's going to be built is another conversation. Along the way, you'd get connections to some of London's biggest rail hubs, the new Old Oak Common for HS2 and the Elizabeth Line, Brent Cross West on the Thames Link, Harlesden on the Bakerloo, Neasden in the Jubilee. The line would cross 4 boroughs, Hounslow, Ealing, Brent and Barnet, and 4 brand new stations for the proposed Old Oak Common Lane, Harlesden, Neasden and Lionel Road. The key bit that makes this interesting is TFL doesn't want to build brand new tracks for most of this. The backbone of this rail line is the Dudding Hill line, a freight-only goods line that had no scheduled passenger service since 1902, over a century, and it's just been there until 2017, where TFL wanted to look into it a bit more. Now, combining that with some of existing sections of the North London line of the Overground and the Hounslow loop of the South Western Railway, bolt on some electrification and new signalling, and you'll get a skeleton of a new Overground line without needing to dig new tunnel, change utility lines, changes of pipes, no TBMs, no cover, just a whole new railway. In theory, this makes things significantly cheaper than something like the Bakerloo line extension and the DLR extension. The estimated cost will be around 800 to 900 million pounds. Why does this actually matter? Now, before you write this off as another TFL wishlist project, and understand that, but believe me, this has more potential or even greater potential than the Bakerloo line extension. It's faster to build and it connects to far more things in West London compared to Southeast London. Even though West and Northwest London has a problem, and the problem is simple. You got loads of radial lines, just like Southeast London, just going in and out of the centre, but almost nothing orbital, nothing linking the communities on this side of the city to each other. We have the Superloop, but to be honest, the Superloop ain't that effective when the roads, the traffic is so bad. If you live in Brentford and you work in Harlesden, that's less than 10 miles. But by public transport, it can take over an hour. The same journey by car on the North Circular might take 20 minutes at 7 a.m. or 2 hours at 8:30. That's not a quirk on the system, that's a structural failure. And it gets worse when you look at what's coming. Old Oak Common is going to be one of the most connected stations in the UK. It's just two trains going to Birmingham, Manchester, and Scotland by the existing rail lines. I don't know why the government does that, but oh well. The Elizabeth line, GWR to Reading, Bath, Bristol, Cardiff, all and then um, nearby rail lines for the Overground, so Woolston Junction, the Bakerloo line, North Acton, the Central line, and hopefully a new spur for the Chiltern Main line. All of this converging in one spot, all converging into one super hub in West London. But if you live 2 miles from Old Oak Common, there's no good public transport link. You're still driving, which defeats the whole point, because a normal man, a normal woman, if the bus does not lead them to the exact location, they'll drive a car to the exact location and they will not take the bus, because the trains don't lead you there, the bus doesn't lead you there. You're either getting an Uber or you're driving. The WLO potentially takes 600, could take 650,000 car journeys off West London roads per year. That's not a rounding error. That's actually meaningful, because if anyone who drives on the North Circular knows how busy that road gets. Sometimes it's not even 2 hours, sometimes it's 3 hours, 4 hours. West London roads are very cramped because there's so much car journeys not ending in West London, but just passing through. The WLO could eliminate those that are just ending around West London, and someone doesn't really need to drive a car there. They can quickly get a reliable train service, and that's it. The WLO could have a regeneration angle. The line would directly serve the mayor's opportunity areas, 5 of them, places earmarked for housing and job growth. TFL reckons the line could support over 25,000 new homes and 11,500 jobs, delivering around £300 million in economic benefits in just the first decade. This is not just a nice to have. For communities along this route, it's a genuine transformation stuff. Why has it taken this long? Here's where it gets frustrating, because this isn't a new idea. The WLO has been in some form of planning since 2017. There's even been earlier versions floating around in the mayor's Infrastructure 2050 plan. Before that, a 2012 conceptual called the Overground, mentions as some sort of outer super loop for London, almost like a rail M25. So why are we still talking about this in 2026? It comes with 3 letters, but also another 3 letters .uk, if you know what I mean. TFL and gov.uk, the government. We can't blame TFL on this one, because they really are trying to get this one done and dusted, because this is very easy. They can quickly get the capital. I love with its public-private partnerships. I think they can get it done, keep the cost low, But after COVID, TFL's finances were off the cliff. And why? Because of gov.uk. The government, especially around that time with Boris Johnson, they wasn't funding TFL the way a traditional um, transport agency should be funded, especially for the capital, like the way France does it, the way Germany does it, the way Denmark, Norway, Spain. They don't do it the way they do it because TFL rely heavily on ticket sales, and these ticket sales should be subsidized by the government. But the government doesn't do that. And because COVID happened, the finances plateaued. But there's been genuine progress recently. In March 2026, TFL had four West London boroughs, Barnet, Brent, Ealing, and Hounslow, along with the Old Oak and Park Royal Development Corporation, agreed a £6.65 million funding package to push the project into the next phase that covers detailed design work, environmental assessments, demand modeling, and preparation for a public consultation planned for summer 2026. The timeline from here is if everything goes to plan, and that is a big if, looks like this. Summer 2026, public consultation. Late 2027, decisions on the Transport Works Act order application. 2030, construction begins. 2033, services starts. And that's 7 years away for a line that mostly existing track. I'm not going to pretend this doesn't sting a little. I'm not surprised, but with the price, with just track, with most of the stations just needing to be a little bit upgraded, this timeline is not appeasing at all. TFL, I think we can speed things up here. I think in 2028 should be the way to go. 2033, I know I'm trying to wait for HS2, but come on now, this should not be this slow. So, is it going to happen? Will it get built on time? From this timeline, yes, I believe this will be done. TFL and four boroughs plus developers have put some money into this. And that means there's confidence that's going to happen. For 800 to 900 million pounds, I think it's going to jump to 8 billion because of inflation. We're dealing with Iran war, fuel prices going up, Russia, Ukraine. Who knows, 2033 could be China and Taiwan. Honestly, we don't know at this point, but I think TFL should secure the funding now before waiting later and getting surprised by the price increase. But yes, even if it does increase in price, it's going to happen. Because it's not only been confirmed, the boroughs along the line are financially invested. They're not just supportive in principle, and crucially, the project doesn't require masses of new tunnel digging or greenfield construction. The railway is already there. All you have to do is make new stations, upgrade existing ones, and the grade crossings, and finally, the signaling, electrification. But however, there are real challenges to this, though. The real challenges are freight operations on the Dublin Hill line needs to be managed. The level crossing near Central is a genuine headache. More frequent trains means more road closures, and that road is already a bottleneck. Signaling needs a complete overhaul. There are sections where the track is signal track, and that needs doubling. There aren't trivial problems, but the engineering problems with engineering solutions, and they're not deal breakers, but they could hurt the wallets. The public wallets, little bit. But would it kill? What could kill this is the same thing that could kill things in British infrastructure, and that's funding. The 6.65 million committed so far is development money. The actual build needs something in the region of 800 to 900 million pounds, and that's going to require central government to step up alongside TFL and the boroughs. That conversion hasn't happened yet. But I'll say this, communities along this route, Housden, Neasden, Brentford, Acton, these are not wealthy areas. They're not areas that historically gets the best of London's infrastructure investment, and they deserve a better orbital connectivity. If there's ever a project worth fighting for, worth turning up to the consultation for, worth writing to your MP about, this will be one of them. The Dudding Hill line has been silent for over 100 years. It's time we give its voice back. And to be fair, if it was an entirely new railway, of course I'll support it. But it would cost double. And I don't think TFL and the four boroughs would put too much money into it. But the good thing is a rail line that already exists. So 800 to 900 million pounds, to me, is still more steep. I think half should get you where you are, but, costs increase everywhere. But just because of that does not mean we should not have great things in this country. The public consultation is coming this summer. I'll link TFL's page in the description. If you live along the route or care about West London transport, get involved. Your response actually matters at this stage. If you want deep dives on London rail infrastructure, extensions, upgrades, existing or don't, subscribe, because this is what this channel is for. And not just London, because I'll be talking about other cities. Just tell me which ones I should do and it will get done. But for now, after the Overground, we'll talk about HS2 again, because I want to redo that video again and talk about NPR. So it'll be a double whammy, HS2 and NPR, because there's been new news about it and I am not liking it. Subscribe for more. Cheers. I'll be signing off. CPM trains in the building.